Then we have requirement specification and documentation, right? So how do we specify the requirements we want? And so we have kind of elucidated our requirements. We have collected them using sources and techniques. Now we want to specify them, and finally we will document them before even testing them. So specification sources are where you get the details to create your requirement specification. Okay, subtopics in specification sources. What is specification in general? Specification is how you specify requirements, right? You discuss it with stakeholders or you consult with the business documents which are most specific to your, application project that you're making, right? Put a stake in the project success, such as user. You can ask these people and understand those who requested or funded the project. Organization that sets standards for the system was made, right? So means that you can specify your requirements by talking with these people. Like for example, maybe I want to build a simple app, like a study app, right? Maybe I'm a user and someone next to me is a business, organization that want to sponsor me. And I'm also, a customer wanting to make this. So they may want some different requirements. For example, they would specify, yeah, that the business should thrive and we should have lower the complaints of the, the customers. And I would maybe say that, yeah, I need 0.5% of the profit, yeah, and also I want the interface to look good. I want the user to be really comfortable with my site, right? So there could be conflicting requirements here. So as we have started before, so specifying requirements by really discussing it with stakeholders is an important step. You can consult documents to specify the requirements. You can have system and software documentation. This includes any previous or related documents from current or past systems that provide insight into how the system should behave. Existing system manuals useful for software updates or when improving an existing system. Technical specifications. For example, already the study app is made and it has a documentation. So I would maybe study those and I would say how would they write their specification and how would they choose the requirements based on those specifications. And of course, you can specify the requirements based on user feedback, but what is most important is to really get the user feedback and then start working on the modifiable software. So there are different models. There's Adal and there's Spiral and there is other, but the most preferred one is that you make a software and then you specify documents, but then you should have the flexibility that if any new requirement is being changed or if any modification to be made, you can easily make to their project and to your documentation. So the whole point is modifiability instead of just giving all these things at once, right? So now techniques, how do we specify requirements? How do we basically specify them? We use use case descriptions. Use cases describe how the system will interact with users to achieve specific goals. We will write scenarios and steps showing how a user interacts with the system. A use case by describing a user logging to the system, entering their credentials and accessing the account, and imagining that we do this using some diagram, like use case diagram. So we say user comes and we will check that if the user is really in our credential or in a database, then we will let it pass. Otherwise we will go back again to the login and we will ask for the password or whatever, your forget password functionality. So these are the use case descriptions. What the user will do will these are basically little descriptions of what the user will do with the system in steps. User story is a simple description of a feature from the user's perspective, right? So what the user thinks about, right, it shows this sentence as a type of user want to perform an action so they can achieve a goal. As a shopper, I want to filter products by price that can find affordable options. The first thing was use case, right? A use case might describe a user logging into the system. It says how the system will interact with user to achieve specific goals, and it helps writing the test, right? Use case helps writing tests. For example, if my user is giving me a story that I want to post a post on my social media platform, the use case would be the steps. Like the user would add a post, then user would click the post button, and then it would be posted. The user can delete it or not delete it. So the use case and the user stories both kind of come together. Wireframes and prototypes. They are simple drawings of interface. Prototypes are early versions. The visuals really help to look for functions, sketch the layout of interface, or get a working model to test. Requirement traceability matters, really, really important, and it shows all requirements. So it really maps requirements to a specific parts of system, helping ensure that every requirement is met during the development. And we have understood that we would write the requirement ID, its description, then the required test ID, and then test description to really understand the traceability metrics. Data flow diagrams, DFDs, they visually represent how data moves within the system, really, really useful. And then this helps classify how the system will process and use data, making it easier to understand the system's functionality. Right, so this is all boring stuff. I know you may be bored a lot, but this is how it is, so bear with me. Okay, so we are done with the specification. We are going to do the validation and techniques in the next video because it's a lot.